FC South on Thanksgiving with huge games from Taysom Hill and Cam Jordan. Plus, LSU dismantles Texas A&M to finish a perfect regular season. Tulane stumbles into its bowl game. Southern wins the Bayou Classic. And both Southeastern and Nichols win playoff games. And we'll preview this week's prep championship games and semifinals. Never before in Saints history have they clinched the division title this early, and this team was emphatic afterwards that division title is not enough. I'm Doug Mouton. Welcome to 4th Down on 4. Again, it wasn't perfect. Again, there was too much sloppiness, but again, the Saints won. Late Thursday night, Cam Jordan and the Saints had their feast, turkey legs, and to wash it down, a third straight NFC South Division Championship.
We sort of run this. It is what it is. We're on the bigger and better things. You know, we said we were going to play in bigger games in the night. Tonight was just icing on the cake for us.
And for Jordan, in the middle of maybe his best season ever, Cam Jordan had his best game ever with a career-high 4 sacks.
He makes it look easy, man. That's just what it is. Like, he makes it look easy, but just being a part of the D-line, just being a part of, making it happen. It's a thrill. Like, it's amazing.
We knew, if we shut down that run, he's going to have to pass. And when he got to it, he was going to have to hold the ball. He's got one of the fastest releases in the game, and, once he started holding that thing, you get one pat out of him, and you can really go get him now. That was the real main difference from the first game to the second game. You take that run away, we going to get it.
The Falcons rushed for just 89 yards total. Their running backs averaged less than 3 yards a carry. And the defense got 3 turnovers, including a really athletic play from undrafted rookie Shy Tuttle. The Saints piled up 9 sacks and 13 quarterback hits. And it would be tough to pick a player of the game between Cam Jordan and Taysom Hill. Hill started fast, partially blocking a Falcons punt that set up his own touchdown catch. And the Saints had drawn first blood. Then in the second quarter, this beauty, a new play, put in specifically for the last game against the Falcons. But Taysom Hill said they weren't able to use it 3 weeks ago. They were on Thanksgiving night.
Look, I think that was something that they weren't prepared for as we motioned out. Alvin took 2 guys, and again, it kind of goes back to they get so focused and locked on a guy like Alvin because he's so good that 2 went out, we had good numbers, and we were able to score.
While Drew Brees was out, Sean Payton cut back on Taysom Hill's usage. But after Thursday night's game, Payton said he might need an increase in his role.
He's neat to coach. He could play a number of different positions. There aren't many guys like him. First one I've ever coached like him. I don't know that there's anyone that enjoys playing football more than him, and that's kind of rubs off, kind of contagious on his teammates. And so when guys like him make a play, you see the bench get excited, and that quality that a player has that endears himself to other teammates, I think is very strong and important, and he's one of those players.
Look, I'm happy that Drew's back for multiple reasons. I love playing with him. He's one of the best leaders I've ever been around, but it also creates more opportunities for me.
Drew Brees' message for at least the last month is we haven't played our best game yet, and even though the Saints won in Atlanta, that was certainly the case on Thanksgiving night. 4 uncharacteristic drops on offense, and the Hands team was a mess.
It's not good. It's embarrassing, honestly. We got to get it cleaned up because it's not like it was the first time this happened now. We went through this. Where were we? Same thing. Clearly after 1 or 2 of them, you saw it wasn't going very deep, and we're still lined up 10 yards behind the. So we'll get that straightened out.
And so is the division championship. Although the Saints championship shirts red, the South is not enough.
That's another dub. That's another dub.
This was objective number 1, obviously, win the division. But I think you know our mindset and the group of guys that we have in there, and we've got bigger fish to fry.
It doesn't happen much before Thanksgiving. This is our 6th now, 3rd in a row. It's one of the goals, and for it to happen on Thanksgiving, this early, it's the first step. You know, it's hard to win in this league. It's hard to win on the road in this league, and I'm proud of our guys.
I think you can't overlook winning your division and getting back to the playoffs. You know, certainly trying to get back to the NFC Championship game, but the ultimate goal is always to win a Super Bowl. You know, there's no mystery what the expectation and what the goal is.
And expectation meets reality this coming Sunday when the Saints host the San Francisco 49ers. Justin Tucker hit the game winner for Baltimore today to drop the Niners to 10-2, tied with the Saints. The number 1 seed could be on the line Sunday. They kick off at noon. Coming up, a ton of college football, including LSU's dominance in the finale against A&M. Tulane dropping its 5th of the last 6. Southern edging out Grambling in the Bayou Classic. And playoff victories in both Hammond and Thibodeau. And later, we'll look ahead to the weekend's semifinal and championship matchups.
Eye on the Tigers coverage is brought to you by Metro by T-Mobile, the best deal in wireless.
The LSU Tigers are now 3 wins from a national championship, and Saturday night a great sign. The Tiger defense showed up in a big way, and of course, so did Joe Burrow, as Ricardo LeCompte reports.
A kid from Athens, Ohio, embracing the Louisiana way of life. Really, only the college experience could provide something like that. And Joe Burrow showed his gratitude to an LSU community that accepted him with open arms by adopting his Louisiana namesake.
I went to our equipment guys to see if we could get it done. And I thought it would just be an awesome tribute to the state, to the university, and I think it was great.
Could he have worn the way to this?
If he wanted to, he can do what he wants.
Burrow has pretty much done whatever he's wanted on a football field this season, and senior night inside Death Valley was no different. Burrow reached a couple of SEC milestones. He first completed this 11-yard pass to Clyde Edwards-Helaire early in the 3rd quarter to break the conference's single-season mark for passing yards, and then hooked up with Jamar Chase in the end zone with 1:31 left in the 3rd for his 44th passing touchdown of the season, tying the SEC record for passing TDs in a single year. Burrow exited the field at Tiger Stadium for the final time early in the 4th quarter to a rousing ovation from the Tiger crowd.
Joe coming out the field, he was kind of tearing up. I was trying to mess with him, saying, "You better not cry." I mean, who wouldn't cry about this moment? You know, it's a Tiger Stadium. We'll cry too.
Yeah, it kind of hit me when I was jogging off the field for the last time. You know, this is the best atmosphere in the country. Saturday night in Death Valley, there's nothing like it, and I'm going to miss it with all my heart.
The blowout revenge win over the Aggies, another chapter in the resurrection of Burrow's college career. And Saturday night also provided a resurgence for the LSU defense. The perceived weakness for the number 2 team in the CFP rankings played extremely motivated. The D yielded just 40 yards of offense to A&M in the first half, 169 total for the game, and 3 interceptions off Texas A&M QB Kellen Mond.
I know a lot of people have been criticizing us and saying this and saying that, but when we actually 100%, we're really a dominant defense. You know, what we did against them, I felt like was impressive. An impressive performance overall for a squad knowing much more is ahead of them, starting with a trip to Atlanta for the SEC Championship. From Baton Rouge, Ricardo LeCompte, 4th Down on 4.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. Joined by former LSU Tiger, Renee Nato, who, of course, writes for CrescentCitySports.com. Is this the best we've seen, given the level of competition, LSU's defense so far this year?
Well, let me backtrack a little bit, Doug. You know, LSU's defense is 32nd in the country. Clemson's number 1, Georgia is number 2, Ohio State number 4. But comparing LSU with Georgia, and I know that's where we're going, LSU has 30 sacks and 14 interceptions. The Bulldogs, 26 sacks and 6 interceptions. So really, LSU is a little skewed a little bit. They've given up some big plays and all, but their defense is better than 32nd in the country.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A lot of the yards they've given up is when the offense has put up so many points. They've given up sort of garbage yards. Crystal ball, LSU, Georgia. I'm guessing you like LSU's chances. Why?
Because when you can score 48, 49 points a game, you can ho-hum. I mean, you know, and this LSU team has picked up a lot, and the defense too, that Joe Burrow bravado, you know, and he's carried his whole team. He's had a big impact on the defense and special teams. You know, Georgia's defense only allowing 10 points a game, but LSU is so explosive, and you got 2,000-yard receivers, and you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's averaging 6.8 yards per carry. You have so many weapons, and it's going to be tough. You know, LSU can just, even if they give up a lot of points, they can just wear them out with you know, up and down the field.
They got to prove it with 3 more games to go. But look, to me, this is the best LSU team I have seen in my lifetime. Am I exaggerating or not?
Well, it's among the top 2 or 3. I'll say that much. You know, and LSU is always, the history has been defense. They've always won with defense. And they're winning with offense now. But it's going to be a tough challenge against the Bulldogs with Fromm, DeAndre Swift, averaging 6.2 yards a game. He's got 1,200 yards on the season. But Georgia is losing their top 2 receivers. Their top receiver suspended for the first half, and Cager Lawrence Cager is out with an injury. So, and their top 2 receivers only have 33 catches apiece. So it's nowhere near what LSU has done offensively.
No one has the stats LSU has. All right, hang with us, Renee. We want to tap into your prep expertise in a minute. Tulane, meanwhile, ended its regular season Saturday in Dallas against SMU.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by this.
The Green Wave were close again, down 4, early 4th quarter. On 4th down, Justin McMillan throws incomplete.
And Tulane will get nothing.
The Mustangs then went on a 13-play, 93-yard touchdown drive to put the game away. Tulane will go to a bowl game, but after winning 5 of their first 6, the Green Wave lost 5 of its last 6. SMU pulled away to win Saturday 37-20. Tulane will get a chance to finish this season on a high note in a bowl game. In the Superdome Saturday, a classic in the Bayou Classic. Southern's Ladarius Skelton threw 2 TD passes, but the Jags and the Grambling Tigers went back and forth in the second half, and the Tigers had a chance to win it. Down 2, Miguel Mendez from 40 yards out is blocked, and Southern advances to the SWAC championship game with a 30-28 win in the Bayou Classic.
Every game we play is you know, our guys know how to win, and unbelievable competitive edge. They compete all the way down to the last minute, and to these seniors and this football team, assistant coaches, unbelievable game. I just take my hat off to all of them. I'll go right down to
Both Southeastern and Nichols extended their season Saturday in the NCAA playoffs. In the FCS, 24 teams qualify for the playoffs. There are now just 16 teams remaining, including the Colonels and the Lions.
And the party begins on a Saturday night in Hammond.
Out of 125, we got 16 left. We one of them. Man, come on. Can't beat this, man.
In Hammond, Frank Selfo watched his Lions fall behind Villanova at halftime, 31-14. Then his quarterback took over. Chasen Virgil, a senior transfer who started his college career at Fresno State, threw for 474 yards and 3 touchdowns as the Lions battled back.
Touchdown, Connor.
I thought Chasen had it tonight, Alan. I thought Chasen, like on the sidelines, you know, when you coach quarterbacks a long time, when you look at him, you can kind of tell if he's a dude or not, right? Well, Chasen's a dude.
As good as the dude was, SLU trailed by 6 with 3 minutes to go. And on 4th down, Virgil finds C.J. Turner for the go-ahead touchdown.
Then he has it. Touchdown, Lions.
The Lions win, 45-44.
I was cool, calm, and collected. You look at this season, like, our offense, we've been in 4th downs like that with the game on the line a lot.
You know, I said when I got this job, I don't want to just compete in the Southland. I want to go on. I want to be bigger than that. I think we can do that. I think at Southeastern, we have the resources and the talent base to go out and compete on a national level consistently. And that's what we're doing. So that's what we're building. We want to get on a national level on a consistent basis.
The Lions play at 6th-seeded Montana Saturday. Meanwhile, in Thibodaux, Nichols got its 6th straight win with a familiar formula against North Dakota in its NCAA opener. Watch number 55, Southland Conference Player of the Year, Sully Lesh. Lesh destroys the double team and gets the sack fumble. That led to a Colonel's touchdown, 10-3 Nichols at halftime. Then in the second half, they ran it right down the Fighting Hawks' throats. De La Salle's Julian Gums went over 1,000 yards on the season with 172 yards rushing Saturday. White Castle's Dontrell Taylor added 95 and that easy touchdown. Nichols wins 24-6. The Colonels play the #1 seed and defending national champion North Dakota State Bison next Saturday. Still ahead, the Rummel Raiders will play for a Division I championship Friday night at Yeoman. We'll analyze their chances in a rematch against Catholic and examine a pair of teams who have had surprising playoff runs. Stay with us. Three local private schools will play for state football championships this weekend. The St. Charles Catholic Comets, the De La Salle Cavaliers, and the Rummel Raiders, who beat Brother Martin Friday night to advance to the Division I finals, where the Raiders will now play Catholic of Baton Rouge.
Really good team, well coached, and they give you a ton of formations. We had to deal with it last year, and so there's a little familiarity there. You know, we'll enjoy this one tonight and wake up tomorrow morning and figure out what we're doing next week.
And we are joined again by our friend Renee Nato from CrescentCitySports.com. Do you like Rummel's chances against Catholic?
Rummel, it's going to be interesting. They're allowing only 10 points a game defensively with 6 shutouts. Catholic averaging 45 points a game, and Doug, Catholic hung 70 points on Dutchtown. They had a couple of outings where they scored 60 points in a game and a couple more, 56 points. It's going to be a stout defense for Rummel against an explosive offense. Rummel's going to have to score 33, 35 points to try to keep pace with Catholic and turn it over to the defense and hope the defense can kind of keep them in check. But it's going to be an explosive, exciting game, Catholic and Rummel.
Yeah, I think that is a great state championship. All right, we got 11 local schools still around in semifinals and state championships. Who's your biggest surprise?
2 of them. Number 6 seed, McDonough 35, who dropped down from 4A to 3A. They started the season, Doug, 0-3 because they played 5A schools, St. Augustine and schools like that, Thibodaux. But they now are winning. They had 10 straight wins. They're winning with offensive and defensive line presence. They're doing a great job. And they all juniors, but a lot of experience. And Wayne Reese does a great job. I think, I tell you, this could be a good year for McDonough 35. They're playing Jennings. And if they win and the other side wins, it's St. James and McDonough 35.
Wow, that would be fun. And your other one is?
Warren Easton, 20 seed. And Warren Easton is led by Ashad Clayton, who just in the playoffs alone, Doug, 670 touchdowns. Cedric Pran is the interior lineman going to Georgia. Clayton going to Colorado. Van Pran is the best offensive lineman in the state. And they are going to play Lakeshore. And whoever wins that probably is going to play Carr, who's on the other side. That's going to be exciting. Warren Easton, I wouldn't sell him short, even though Lakeshore is explosive, Doug. Warren Easton is hitting stride at the right time.
Ashad Clayton against that Lakeshore team. I cannot wait to see that one. Renee Nato, terrific job as always. Thanks for joining us. We're back with more 4th Down on 4 in a minute. The Pelicans lost their 5th in a row Sunday evening. Chris Paul hit 2 huge baskets for Oklahoma City in the final minutes. The Pelicans have not been good at the end of games. New Orleans now 6-14 through the first 20. Ricardo LeCompte got some analysis afterwards.
And joining us now is Will Guillory, who covers the Pelicans for The Athletic. And I think this theme that we're seeing throughout the year for this New Orleans team is that they're unable to finish down the stretch, the clutch, those last 5 minutes when the game's within 5 points, and they just have not been able to kind of seal the deal. What do you believe are some of the issues of why the Pelicans can't seem to close out games?
Yeah, I just think first off we have to say that this is still a very young team. Yeah. Obviously they have guys like Drew Holiday and J.J. Redick present, but I think with the youth they're still figuring out how to win, and I think all of these guys, there's been so many injuries, so many changes to the lineups. There just isn't that sense of comfort with these guys in these moments. You saw over there with OKC, Chris Paul's a guy that's been in these moments hundreds of, if not thousands of times. So he knew exactly what he wanted to do, what type of shots he wanted to get for his team, and I think it shined through at the end. I think this Pels team is still trying to figure out, in these situations, should Brandon Ingram be getting the ball? Should Drew Holiday be getting the ball? What should we be doing on the defensive end? So I think they're still learning on that end, but man, it's so tough to learn with losses because because you feel it so much. They would love to learn what wins, but I think it's still going to take a time for this group. And then there's another adjustment coming with the guy Zion Williamson coming around in a couple weeks.
Who do you think will probably see more minutes? Who do you think may end up going to the bench with Zion eventually coming back?
Yeah, I think a big thing is Zion and Derek Favors being absent. I just think there's so much missing in this front court. I think, again, going back to the end of the game situation here against OKC, you saw Alvin Gentry kind of going between Nicolo Melli, giving Jackson Hayes some minutes. I think he doesn't really feel very comfortable with what he's doing right there at that 5 spot. I think when you have Zion and Derek Favors here, I think that's going to solve a lot of his problems because he can just go to those guys and trust them to not only be present but actually be impact players and not just have guys that are just filling spots. So I think that's very important. And another guy I want to keep an eye on once Zion gets back is Lonzo Ball. I think he's someone who's struggled to find his place with this team. Obviously, he's dealt with some injuries. You know, Drew Holiday trying to figure himself out, I think it's taken away from Lonzo a little bit, just taking the ball away from him. But I think when you have a guy like Zion out there, he's going to need someone to feed him, and I think Lonzo's the perfect person for that role. I think they're going to mesh together really well.
Yeah, and I know you mentioned that when you wrote that article with Ball, basically maybe just relegate him to the bench for now before Zion gets back. If you have not read that, go ahead and check that out on The Athletic.
Please.
Will Guillory, thanks very much. Well, we'll send it back to you.
All right, thanks, Ricardo. This week, prep football state championships and semifinals, LSU and Georgia in the SEC championship, and the Saints and the 49ers in the Superdome. What a weekend. And we'll be back here next Sunday night to wrap it all up. We're out of time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week on 4th Down on 4.